Okay, so I want to talk a bit about William Latson. This gentleman was principal of a Southern Florida high school. As you can see, he is an African American, and he has recently been fired. I think the firing took place a couple of months ago. This article comes from. I'm not going to read the article itself because I don't want to plagiarize, but I'm just going to give you a summary of what exactly happened to this man and the injustices he's suffering. If you want a link to the article itself to read it, please feel free to contact me on Twitter. I will gladly provide it to you. Excuse me. But if I put it on YouTube, they'll give me a hate speech violation. They already gave me one for a video I made about Ben Shapiro and the cookie analogy of Nick Fuentes, where I basically just did math, and apparently that's hate speech now. So I don't want to get a strike. I don't want to get this channel taken down. But nevertheless, let's get into this. So William Latson received an email from a concerned parent some time ago about, apparently this was a year ago, according to some sources, asking him why the Holocaust curriculum was not mandatory at the school. And he said, I'm ambivalent about that. It's regardless of what I think, I'm the principal of a public school. And as such, the people that are sending their kids to my school are the ones that, ultimately should have the say in this. And, some of them don't quite buy the narrative. That's all he said. He didn't say one way or the other what he thought. He just said some parents don't want this taught to their kids, but it was made available to them. So it was an optional thing that the kids could learn if they want to. But that wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough for this parent whose name has strangely been kept anonymous, despite the fact that he's accused a man of something egregious, supposedly, and gotten him fired over it. Latson has never been able to face his accuser, but he lost his job nonetheless. This parent complained. They complained to the ADL. They complained to the mass media, and they've slandered this man. They've defamed his character. They've essentially had him blacklisted. And the funny thing is, they can't even fire him for the reason that they want to fire him. The official reason that he was fired is because he didn't return phone calls, which is, of course, facetious. It's ridiculous. That's not the real reason he was fired. We know why he was fired. But they can't say that because it's a First Amendment thing, and they would never get away with it. So they have to make up a lie about it. Nevertheless, William Latson has lost his job. And I think it's interesting who's standing up for him, because when you look at how this is being covered, there aren't many people standing up for him. The best you get is media saying that his lawyer is going to fight back and try to get him his job back. The man should not be in this position to begin with. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. He's been very professional about the whole thing. It's not like he said something controversial. He simply said, my opinion doesn't matter. But that's not good enough. Because if you don't fully subscribe to the propaganda and force it down the throat of everyone you have authority over as an administrator, to them, to certain people, that makes you the enemy. I mean, how psychotic is this? How neurotic do you have to be to act this way, and to have a man fired for this, and to defame his character over this, for just saying, I don't know, and it doesn't matter what I think, because what matters is the opinions of the parents. And so I'm making this available to them, but I'm not going to make it mandatory. That's all he did. That's all. That's the extent of it. He didn't say anything mean. And the person, there's a man, I can't pronounce his name, Ben Salamskowski or something, a Jewish gentleman who set up a GoFundMe for this to try to raise money for Holocaust survivors on the back of this man's firing, and it's raised about $36 since July. But this is just insane. This is terribly immoral, and I want everyone to take note of who is standing up for him. Not me, but the guy who wrote the article, I'll just say Mr. Stryker, who wrote this article. These are the people that are willing to stand up for your right to speak freely, to say what you want, and to have a job, and to live unmolested from these terrible ethnic tyrants who want to rule over us and tell you what you can say, who you can say it to, and force their agenda down your throat to the point where if you resist them in any way whatsoever, they will ruin your life.